Hi there. It is Saturday, and we're live. We're live from Florida. I'm T. Waldron, and I have a moderator, and I'm really excited about that. I'm just going to wait till some people populate in the chat or join. I think I was on time, and that might have surprised some people. And I'm finalizing my agenda. Good evening. Hi, if you're just joining, welcome. I'm Teresa Waldron. You can call me T. Thank you so much for spending a Saturday night here in Florida. And if you're thinking it's rain, it's not. It's a fountain. But let me see if I can turn this. There it is. I was trying to get that in the background, but I couldn't. So, so thanks for tuning in. And tonight I have a new format. I'm going to just share this with you. So we're going to go through some things that I want to share with you. Then we'll do some deep breathing, and then we'll wrap it up with any final thoughts. So I hope that sounds good. First of all, thank you for tuning in. I know it's the weekends, and there's a million other things you could be doing. So I do appreciate your time and your energy and your attention. So thank you for that. I want to thank our moderator. So his name is Imran Hossein. He's a YouTube video SEO specialist. So he's amazing. He does great work. And you know, before I started working with him, I think in November of last year we started, I didn't have very many subscribers. And now we're, I think, around 2,800. So he did a great job. He's terrific. Hire him if you get a chance. So yeah, so I'm really happy to be here because a lot of times during the week our chats had been, well, up until now, our chats have been overrun by people who were disrespectful. So to have a space where people can come together, share ideas, learn some things from each other, and have a safe space is really very beautiful, and I very much appreciate that. So thank you, Imran, for being moderator this evening. I'd also like to thank my friends for, you know, being here. Hey, Art. Yeah. Art thanks you as well, Imran. So, yeah, I'd also like to thank my friends for supporting me, you know, and for being here. Good evening. Hi, Yadav. Oh, thank you. I had some time in the sun today with a friend. We were hanging out at the pool, and it was really, really nice here. Oh, thank you so much. So yeah, so this isn't so much about looks, though. This is about mental fitness. Okay, so let's see what else. And I also want to thank the universe for inspiration, because there is a higher power that surrounds all of us and connects all of us, and that is pure love. And it's just so special, and it's so powerful. And if we can learn how to look within ourselves to start to have mental fitness and clarity and spirituality, then we can do anything. We're powerful. We're limitless, and it's really a wonderful way to be. So, so what I want to ask you guys, and you could put this in the chat, like, who are you? What is? Okay, you know what? I just have to say, this is a intellectual thing. So you're welcome to stay. I would love for you to stay and join the conversation, but it's not about looks and it's not about that kind of stuff. This is just about, you know, exchanging ideas. Okay, but thank you though. So, so I'm a person. I'll tell you who I am first, and then you can add in the chat. Okay. I'm a person who is searching for truth. I like to educate myself, and I like to know different things, like learn different perspectives, but overall it's important that it's true. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Madhi. So I mean, that's always been important to me, and I just never knew the proper channel. So I'm creating this channel so that we can come together, share ideas, share, you know, what do you know? What do I know? Where does the truth lie? And also so people can have debates. Like, we don't have to agree on everything. You don't have to agree on everything I say. I won't agree on everything you say. I'm sure we'll have differences, but we can still get along, and that's the goal. Hi, Mumtaz. Welcome. Um, so I'm in search of truth. Is that something that's important to you? Yep, it's not political. So please don't put any politics in my chat. Thank you. Um, it's an open forum to respectfully share ideas and debate and share knowledge. I'm only on YouTube. Yep. So I'm creating content right now for YouTube. I have over 400 videos about different topics, and okay. Yeah, it's no worries, Craig. Just hang out. I would love to hear what your ideas are on different stuff. But I just want to, because you know what happens, and this is why politics, religion, different social groups, different political groups, whatever, divide people. And we have so many more things in common as human beings that we are overlooking these days because these different aspects of our lives are there dividing us, and then we're focusing on our differences and how much you're different from him and I'm different from her and whoever, and we have more commonalities than differences, and I think that's important to talk about that. And everything is meant to divide us, our shopping, who has the best clothes, who has the best car, who has the best house. It's always a competition where if we work in cooperation, we are limitless. Thank you, Sam. Okay, lucky Frankie. Well, good luck on that quest, getting your wife, your girlfriend, and your mistress to get along. Okay, that's pretty funny. Okay, so yeah, that's funny. Um, yeah, so how's everybody doing this evening or morning? Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. It's lighting. I have a bright spotlight shining right here, as you can see from the shadow. So, um, anywho, so what I wanted to talk about is, like, do you like yourself? Because that is something I struggled with for a really long time. I went through a period where I didn't really like who I was. I was like a people pleaser. I was not um, I was not kind to myself. If you ever, yeah, peace be upon you as well. Adrahim, welcome. So, hey Kenny, I'm sorry I missed your hi earlier. Oh wait, what did you say here? Madi. Nowadays, it's hard to find people who want to communicate. Correct, with respect or share knowledge. It's just social media disadvantages. Correct, and that's why I have my moderator tonight, and I'm so happy because normally I'm trying to share ideas and moderate, and it's too much. So now we can have a conversation, and as long as everyone remains respectful, I want to hear what you have to say. So thank you for acknowledging that. That's a good point, Madi. But yeah, I think that's something that we don't talk about. And what do you guys think? Oh, I have a problem with the sound? Oh. Yeah, is it okay now? Hi, Robbie. Welcome. Yeah, thank you, Sam. Hi, Kevin. Welcome. Yeah, thank you so much, Madi. I appreciate that. Thank you, Bing. I appreciate you. You know what? You have power when you can do something and then you choose not to. So that's excellent. Robbie, you can hear. Okay, good. Oh, sound is good. Cool. Okay. Yeah, I just got these new microphones and I tested them. And then I had to upload firmware, and it was a whole thing. So I was so happy that I did that earlier today. So I'm glad they work. So that's really good. But yeah, so I've been doing these lives every single day. So this is a new time of day. And I'm working, as I said, with a moderator now. So I'm like, thank you so much. I'm so appreciated, Imran. I can't tell you how much it relieves me that because I would be, sitting here talking or reading, and who knows what was happening in the chat. So I can focus on you guys, and I do. I want to focus on the people that are interacting. Good. Yeah, this is we're in Florida, and that's a fountain inside the lake. It's really pretty. Hey, Christopher, welcome back. Yeah, I'm so glad you guys chose to join me this evening or morning, wherever you are. Um, yeah, so what I was talking about is sometimes um, we don't really appreciate who we are and like all the things that we do. So I'm wondering, I set up some questions here to ask you guys, and I'm curious, and you don't have to put it in the chat, but these are, and I'll have these notes up later in my community page. So to get to know yourself, assess where you are. Like, do you, um, yeah, I got a mod, Kevin. He's on tonight, so yay! I'm so excited. Yeah, that it's so true, Kevin. Thanks for noticing. But he's doing it, and as you'll notice, the chat's been great. And thank you, Imran. So assess where you are. If you get to know yourself, like we look to in this world, okay, and it's not our fault, but we are inundated when we're kids. We're taught in school. Our parents learn this, and then they teach us to look to the external for validation, for attention, for everything. And if you can turn within, you have tremendous power. So it's really great. Yes, I know, Christopher. Yeah, me too. I'm thrilled. I'm have a moderator. Um, so when you have been told your whole life, okay, we're comparing ourselves to others, and it's just natural. They say there's a common phrase here, the grass is always greener. You're always looking at your neighbors. Oh my goodness, what do they have? And it seems like they have everything, and you feel like you're in lack, and you live your life feeling like I don't have enough. I'm not enough. I don't have enough. There's something wrong with me. Like I felt all those things over time, not sometimes all at once, sometimes one at a time. And I don't know how you felt, but it's kind of how it's designed so that we seek validation outside of ourselves. But when you can stop the noise, when you can stop that chase, that feeling of lack, and say, wait a minute, what's happening here? And like look around at your situation and then decide, what do I want to focus on and what's not important to me? Um, so yeah. Okay, Frankie. All right, knock it off there, sir. Just yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. What's the question? Yeah, exactly. What is the question? So the question is, how do you feel about your situation in your life right now? Are you feeling like you are searching for something? Are you feeling like you have everything you need and you're at peace? Um, and I was feeling like I was in lack, like I was missing something, right? Like minimal, yeah, inadequate, yes, yes. And that's so common. Like I felt like that for the longest time. And you know what? A lot of people, not everybody, but many people feel this way. And it's like, why? So then that's my next question. What are you doing well, right? And there's probably stuff you're happy about in your life, I'm sure. And then what kind of makes you feel like, oh, I should do that better? So, and I did like a SWOT analysis. So I don't know if you know what that is, but that's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And it's kind of used a lot of times for business, but I turned it on myself just to kind of have like a scorecard, I'm a nerd, man, so I like report cards. so, so the things I'm doing well, I mean, I'm doing a lot of stuff. I'm doing what I like. I love my life. I quit my job after 17 and a half years of a beautiful corporate job, and I'm going to school now full time for a MBA in strategic leadership and a doctorate in metaphysical life coaching, which is how our thoughts change our reality. That's metaphysics. How cool is that? It's something I've always wanted to do. Plus it ties in physics, which I love physics, and and I love my life. But also, what are my challenges? What's my weakness? I tend to be a perfectionist and procrastinate. So, oh, cheers to you guys. Everybody stay hydrated. So, you know, those, I know those are my weaknesses. And then sometimes I'm late because I'm procrastinating, right? So it's kind of a, you have to get to know. And then opportunities. What opportunities do I have? I have like tremendous opportunities. I'm like changing the direction of my life right now. So I'm trying to meet different people who are like life coaches. That's what I'm going to school for. I'm like, do I really want to do that? And then they're giving me tips. They're like, well, try this, don't do this. It's great because it's unknown. I'm like, I don't know what's happening. I kind of just like jumped out of the plane and I'm praying my parachute unfolds in time, which it will, but you know, that's how it goes. Sometimes you have to take a chance to make a change, and it's uncomfortable. I'm like, I don't know what's happening. You know, I mean, I had that job and it was beautiful. I loved it. It was secure, health insurance. If you're in the U.S., you know what I'm talking about. Um, but, but like, it was time for me to, like, I had done it and I loved it, but it was time for me to follow my dreams, right? Life without a goal feels empty, yes, and confusing. Each day may seem repetitive and meaningless. A person can lose motivation and direction. Even small goals give life purpose and energy. That is so true, Madi. Very, very cool. Politics and American culture has destroyed me. Absolutely. Beyond jaded. Have zero friends. Million plus home ocean view stuff. Guess I'm retired or whatever that is. You know what? And that's my point. You know, like what like when I'm sorry, I say like a lot when I'm trying to think, but it's such a great point there, Bing. Oh, thank you. Hyper Beast. Yeah, you can follow, but this is mind stuff, you know. But that's the point about American politics. Like we are so divided, and you know what? The only people that win are the news stations that are selling us the news and the people that are sponsoring the news. It's a commodity. And you know, if I believe a certain way, I'm going to turn on to that channel that makes my points and says the same things over and over, and then I'm thinking, oh, I'm right, I knew it, and then, or if I think the other way, I'm going to watch that channel that says, oh, you know what, you're right, those other people are horrible, they're dumb, they're stupid, it's just divisive. It's meant to divide us. It's meant to give us those dopamine hits, and then we've destroyed ourselves. You know, we look back to American history. People had disagreements, but they still worked together to achieve things. And I feel like we can still do that, but we have to wake up. Like we have to wake up and snap out of it and like let go of some of that. Okay? Yeah. Hi, Yamila. Welcome. Yeah, the 70s. You know, that's so funny. You missed the 70s when we were all friends. That's cool. Guess what? I went to the Woodstock in '94 and I thought it would be really peaceful and cool. I'm like, I can't wait for like peace and all that, you know? And it was terrible. It was like Armageddon. Like they didn't have enough space or food or porta potties. It was a disaster. And people were like, it was like Lord of the Flies. So that was not what I expected. Yeah. No, we can't word our way out of this, but I feel like if we can somehow put down our shield, you know, and put the politics aside, like does that have to define us, you know? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. That's why I want to have these discussions, because maybe somebody has a thought, you know, because I feel like it's not healthy, you know, but it's also not the first time that this country is, and many countries, you know, have been in these situations. But, you know, we have to learn from history. A friend of mine's a history professor, and he's always telling me, he's like, oh, this has happened before. And he'll give me like 4 examples of different stuff. And I'm like, all right, I guess I won't stress about it. But I'd like to know what to do. So that's why I'm trying to set these conversations up, and maybe we can figure it out. Yeah, I know. I know it defines us, but it doesn't have to, Bing. That's the thing. So I want to, and the way that you can do that is taking back your power. You know. Good morning, Abduli. Hi, Larry. Welcome. Losing democracy. Yeah. Okay. Take care. Yeah. No, I'm not saying lose democracy, but peace out, Bing. I'm sorry it didn't resonate with you. I'm not saying lose. Of course, we need democracy. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what happened there, but okay. So the that threw me off a little. I'm sorry. Um, so my question was, what are you doing well in your life, and what could you do better? Hey, John, welcome. So, what are you doing well in your life? You know, what are you proud of? What are some of your wins? So today the topic is getting to know yourself, okay? And I'm kind of talking about how I did it, and maybe you have ideas, but it's I like to first of all I would assess where I was, and you know I would have a hard time sitting down and just being honest, and that can be painful, you know, especially the stuff that you don't want to admit or the stuff that you know you really know you need to work on. Yeah, thank you, Christopher. Hi, Benoit. Welcome. Everything's great. How are you guys? We're talking about how we can get to know ourselves and then love ourselves. So assessing where you are. So your strengths, write down all your strengths. It's a SWOT analysis, SWOT. And I will put these notes in the community page later tonight. I just have to rewrite them. They're kind of messy, but it's pretty good ideas, you know. That way you can go back and if you actually want to do it like as a journal prompt or just, you know, in your iPhone or whatever. I like to handwrite stuff though because I feel like when we're doing our phone, it's not as cathartic. You know, I think better by writing. But so assess where you are, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So what are your strengths? What are you doing well? What are your weaknesses? What can you do better? And I said earlier, procrastination, perfectionism. So there's so many things, but I know about them, and I'm working to overcome those. Yeah, nice to see you too, Abduli. Yeah, oh, thank you. Yeah, is stubbornness a strength or weakness? Well, it could be both. Oh, absolutely. So it could be great not to give up. I think stubbornness could be good if you have the wisdom to know when to put it in place. You know, if you're just stubborn all the time, you're like I'm right and that's it. Then no, that's a weakness because then you have a blind spot. But if you have something a goal you're going for and it's helpful, you know when to go for it and when to get you know when to let up a little. Yeah, that's you know what, Christopher, that's what I'm trying to do. Thank you. I appreciate that. So what I'm doing is I'm writing these notes and they're sequential. So eventually I'm going to put them together in a book. So thank you for saying that because that's what I'm doing. You picked it up, man. And this is day one. So wow, very wise. I appreciate that, and you know, I appreciate that thought. Hi, Brazil. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you, Benoit. Yeah, I don't have an Instagram. I have one, but I have like one video up, and it was just, I'm doing all my content right now on YouTube, and then I'm going to chop it up and put it on all the other platforms later. But I'm focused right now on creating the content. So thanks for asking. Hi, Kevin. Also, is always trying to be better, good, or bad. I'm asking this because I never fully satisfied with where I'm at, and I always try to overachieve. Oh, I hear you. I don't know if it's a good mentality. Well, okay. You know what? First of all, let me just tell you, Benoit, there's a lot of questions wrapped up in that. That's very good questions. Defining things as good or bad, like it's a spectrum, okay? It's doesn't matter, okay? Throw that out. Throw that idea out. Don't worry about it. Always trying to be better. Okay, so that can be that can be both. It can be good to always try to be better because you want to succeed, you want to do your best, right? I do. That's how I am, and I'm with you on that. But then you have to know when to stop. You have to know when to say this is good enough. This is sufficient. You know, so I think the way that you'll know how far to go with that is by setting a goal, you know, saying, you know what, I'm going to do my best today and I'm also going to get 8 hours of sleep. If you say I'm going to do my best today and then you get like 2 hours of sleep and you're exhausted, then that's not bettering yourself. That's like running off a cliff. You know what I'm saying? It's not helpful. So if I hope that helps. And you know what? So yeah, I understand not being satisfied. That's why I'm talking about this. This is getting to know yourself, and then tomorrow we're going to talk about how to start to love yourself. I mean, that's like a whole that's like a 3-year journey for me, but I'm just trying to get it into little segments so that we can talk about it, right? Yeah, politics and religion are totally dividers, Kevin. You're right. And it's heartbreaking because, you know, especially the people that are most affected by it, it's hard to talk to them because they're so focused on their point of view. So yeah, I agree. Yeah. So yeah, so Benoit, stay tuned because we're gonna address all those things you're talking about, but I can't do it all on tonight. Thanks, I appreciate that you appreciate my point of view. Yeah, thanks for subscribing. Yeah, discipline will probably be chapter 1 of your book. I know, I know. Yeah, discipline is so important. It's crucial. But also, you know, like I think one of the basic things, even before discipline, before all this stuff, is realizing that we're social creatures. Okay, good. I appreciate that. We're social creatures, and this is not something we can choose. It's actually part of our DNA. So our ancestors, you know, when we were, you know, while we were nomads, okay, the ancestors that were like really positive and like, oh look, the sun is out, rawr, they got, you know, killed by the saber-tooth tiger or whatever, okay, and the ones that were like, uh-oh, what's wrong, you know, the more cautious ones that were always looking and you know, not fully open and positive, they survived. So that's in our genes, you know, like that's, but we don't need those skills right now. Like there's not going to be, we're not, I mean, unless you're in like a dangerous city, chances are we're not being attacked. We're at work, we're not going to be, you know, ambushed. Well, we might be if it's a hostile environment, but you know what I mean? Like we don't need we don't, that doesn't have to be our default. And so it's up to us to recognize if it is and then do something about it, right? Hey, Mark, welcome. Every day I write a small article that expresses something, but today I wrote about the sun. I love that. That's awesome. Very cool. Yeah, survival mode every day. That's so true. But who is it? Who, if you don't realize it, you're in survival mode, and you're not there because you even did it necessarily. You might be in survival mode because you're watching all these commercials that say you don't have the right car, you don't have the right house, you don't have the right whatever shirt, whatever it is, the food, the, you know, you need this, you need that, and it's like, oh no, I'm in lack, survival mode, and lack and fear and anger and separation. You know, again with the politics and religion, like it all is like it's like a vortex that sucks you in, and makes you feel just like our friend just said, you know, like I feel like I'm not enough, and that's what we have to fight, and we can do it. You can do it. You just have to educate yourself. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it can totally be linked to trauma. Oh, toxic gameplay, welcome. I'll never forget you. that handle cracks me up every time. Okay, so what we were talking about though is that's so excellent, Christopher, because part of the way that I learned the stuff that I know now is through internal family systems and it was it's a mode of psychotherapy created by Dick Schwartz. And hey, Paul, good evening. Welcome back. um, but he was a therapist, and this is it's an interesting story. And he was into family therapy, so he would bring, and he was focused on girls that usually young girls that had eating disorders. Okay, so he would bring the whole family in, and then, you know, they'd have a group session, and, you know, he thought he cured them, and then they would come back the next week and they were a mess. So he started focusing on these girls that had the eating disorders, and they said, well, part of me says this, and part of me, you know, part of me tells me to eat the food, and part of me says I should throw it up, and part of me So they started speaking in this language that talked about parts. So he decided to take the family model of like the whole family and just put that, like, label these parts inside the person. And then he started treating the parts as though they were individuals, and it became a whole therapy, and he was actually helping people, and now it's a known psychotherapy. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it, Toxic Gameplays. I also have a moderator, so I'm so grateful. Let me do another little commercial. Imran Hossein, YouTube video SEO specialist. And I wrote extraordinaire under here, but it didn't fit and it looked terrible, so I had to cut it off. But he's awesome. So thank you very much, Imran, for modding me. I appreciate it. And our chat is so much cleaner, and it's awesome. So yeah, so Dick Schwartz. I mean, this is how, it's amazing, like people like that who see a problem and then they solve it. So, that's kind of what I'd like to do with this, is we can all come together and sort of share our ideas and our perspectives, and maybe, even if we just create a community and get our emotions out, just say, oh my gosh, do you believe this happened? And see if there's commonalities. So, yeah, and then, we were talking about, we want to assess where you are in your life, and we were talking about the SWOT analysis, which I will put these notes in the community page. So kind of go to that, because I have a time change for tomorrow night. My live is going to be 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow night due to some conflicts in schedule. So I apologize. It's going to be late, but hey, why not? We'll see how that goes. But it'll be 10 p.m. tomorrow night, and if God willing, Pumpkin will join us. If she's not mad at me for being away this long. But we'll see how that goes. Yeah, so anyway, we were talking about doing a SWOT analysis. Part of it is, actually this isn't even part of the SWOT analysis. This is something totally separate. It's when you're thinking about how you think you're doing, like, okay, say, all right, let me see, how am I doing in my life? Kind of take a moment and, like, get quiet and think about that. Like when you're having your cup of coffee or whatever, in the morning, or, even like while you're brushing your teeth, hey, how am I doing? See where you feel it in your body. Like, let me think. All right, I'm feeling it like in my gut. Like, I'm like, ooh, I'm a little bit nervous, but because I'm on this live with you guys, and I hope I do a good job. But you know what? I'm going to take that and turn it into excitement. But when you're thinking about yourself, you may feel your shoulders tighten up, or you may feel like you get a headache, or you may feel like you're hungry or whatever. Make a note of that and say, okay, this is how I feel like I'm doing about myself. What's that telling me? Where could that be coming from? And that's like using your body to help you sort of be a detective, and it's very helpful. Good evening, Saud. Oh, thank you so much, Paul. I just dyed it earlier. Because I had some gray roots coming in, and I said, oh boy, can't have that. I'm not ready for gray. So yeah, so how are you feeling? How are you, like, our bodies tell us a lot, and we've tuned that out. That's part of looking within, is using somatic healing. And that's another guy that I've interviewed, Luis Mojica. He's coming out with a book in I think this spring, about what you're eating, your nutrition, how your body feels, and how your mind works. It's all tied together. So, oh hey, Aja, welcome back. Yes, SWOT analysis, thank you. Yes, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And it's typically used for business, but I like a sort of a structure. When my friend is like, you always like a structure. I'm like, well, yeah. Because, then I know I'm doing it right. And then I don't have to worry about it. So yeah, it's good. Thank you for putting that in there, Christopher. And then, then I'll look opportunities. I'll say, you know what, what's a thing that I can change? Like what's something I'm not like really happy about myself? So let's say it's procrastination, okay, which is a big one, because I like stuff perfect, and life is not perfect. I would be frozen in analysis paralysis for so long, right? Oh, mostly carnivore, cool. Yeah, oh, nice. the carnivore diet and you felt great. Well, that sounds like it's past tense, Kevin. What happens? It is expensive too, and it can be time consuming maybe. I don't know. I'd love to hear what happened if you, or maybe you don't need to do it, or maybe you got tired of it. Who knows? Yeah. So I know. I don't do so much carnivore. I do low carb, but um, it's awesome. You know, like you want to be healthy. So whatever works for you guys. I'm curious. Um, yeah. So opportunities. What can you change in your life that would have the most impact? And it's going to be something probably the thing that would have the biggest impact that you know deep down in there you need to do, but you don't want to. It's going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to feel like, what did I say here? Hint, when you think about changing this, it's scary or uncomfortable, right? Thank you so much, Christopher. I appreciate that. Oh my God, cake. Oh, I love treats like, yeah, sweets, it's all over. Smoking. Oh, stop smoking. Hey, Richard, welcome. That's a good one. Um, and then my friend also, she says you got to sort of replace whatever you're giving up with something else. So maybe instead of smoking, you can, I don't know, go out and take a walk, or I don't know how often you were smoking, you know, that might not be possible. But, you know, maybe instead of smoking, drink more water. That's hard. Mm. But yeah, that's a good one to stop. And you know it. You know if you had that, if you could, when you achieve that, that's going to have a huge impact on your life, on your finances, on your health, on your socializing. When I was at the retreat last week, on the first day, I was sitting at this table outside, and it was like an old tree, and it was an ashtray. Like they made it, like people were putting their cigarettes in it. I think they were supposed to, but so I was sitting there just like chilling, and this lady came up and she goes, "Do you mind if I smoke? This is the smoking area." I'm like, "No, go ahead. I'm just sitting here." She goes, "Oh, because I feel like I'm the only one here smoking, and there's like 1,500 people." She goes, "And I feel so uncomfortable smoking because I feel like everybody hates me." And I'm like, "It's okay. Have your cig. You know, if that's what you got to do, have it." But it brings together I guess all these feelings you may be having, right? About being a smoker. So maybe that's the thing you need to do. So that's really perceptive. Now, that's hard, you know. So then deciding how you're going to do it is the thing. Oh, okay. Yeah, there's a book called Easy Way to Quit Smoking by Alan Carr. Okay, I'm going to read this out loud, Paul. That's good tips. And he's giving tips on buying prime ribs. Oh, that's nice. And cut them down and vacuum pack them like 12 to 14 per pound for ribeye. And there's a smoking book called The Easy Way to Quit Smoking by Alan Carr. Thank you, Paul. That's good info. See, I love this. They also have a women's version and other addictions. Yeah, there's so many addictions. That's another thing our society is here, you know, putting addictions in our way, the screens. And I know we're on a live. It's just this is a good what do you call it, forum, I think, because it's accessible. I'd never meet you people in public, and like, because I would just have, I'm here and you're there, like we couldn't meet in person because we're distant. But this is a beautiful forum, you know. But you know, typical mindless scrolling, like where you sit down and go, oh, let me just turn this on, and then you look up and it's 2 hours later, right? Or watching stupid, you know, shows and shopping or other addictions. Yeah. Aberdahim, let's see. I'm Moroccan, welcome. And I understand 80% of what you're saying, but there are some words I do not understand. I know. I try to use good vocabulary. So write them down and look them up. So I hope that helps. I don't know if there's a transcript available for this after. I think there will be. I think it automatically does a transcript so you can look up the words you don't know. I try to enunciate so they'll be spelled correctly. But welcome. I'm so happy you decided to join us, even though it's not easy. Good job. And then, like, you know, you're gonna get to know, like, and we were talking earlier about setting goals. So setting goals is gonna be key. So you're gonna say, okay, what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What are my opportunities? And what are threats to me? You know, like, I know for me, I can't have chocolate in the house because I will eat all of it. Like I just don't, I don't know. I'm just chocolate and I are enemies. I have to get a better relationship with chocolate, but I know it, so I try to keep myself away from it as much as possible, and that's helpful. And I know, like keeping certain things like peanut butter in the house doesn't, it's not happening. I gotta stop that. So, but seriously, like what are your other threats? Like if there's serious threats to your, all right, we'll go back to the perfectionism. You know, me trying to get something perfect. What I do now is I'll give myself either a soft time limit or I'll set the timer on my phone. I'll say, okay, I'm working on this for 20 minutes, and then whatever it is, and that helps. So you kind of, you're, what I learned it helps is having boundaries. Now, boundaries with yourself, and then boundaries with other people. So when you can start to have the boundaries with yourself, then you can start applying them to other people. And when you start applying boundaries, if you've never done this, and I didn't forever, like for years, for 50 years, I was terrible at it. Like I was too strict. I was actually listening to somebody who's like, oh, you need to do this, this, and this. And I alienated every single person in my life because I was listening to this other person. So, I mean, it helped me create the boundaries, but then I had to reel it back and say, okay, how can I be like a human being and do this respectfully to them? So that was interesting. Okay. Okay, we are respectful in the chat. Okay, so I think that's it for tonight. I'll leave you with this. Here's a book I'm currently reading, Irreducible by Federico Faggin. I love him. He was and you know the story if you've been watching the channel for a while. Yeah, the books you're recommending are easily read, and they deprogram the subconscious. Yes. Oh my God, there's so much about the subconscious we're going to be getting into. Operant conditions and stigmatized beliefs. Wow, that's heavy. That's good vocabulary, Paul. A stimulant calms you down, but it also picks you up. The calm comes with soothing addiction pangs. Wow, that's very cool. That's awesome. This is the kind of stuff I love, you guys. Thank you so much for contributing that. Okay, so I'm going to leave you with this. He says, true intelligence is intuition, imagination, creativity, ingenuity, and inventiveness. It is foresight, vision, and wisdom. It is empathy, compassion, ethics, and love. It is the integration of the intuitive mind, the empathetic heart, and courageous action. In other words, true intelligence is not separable from the other properties that make us human and that require the other properties that make us human and that require consciousness and free will. Isn't that cool? So I'll put that whole thing in the chat because I think that's a really beautiful quote. And I'm going to leave you with that. I work as a rail engineer, mostly at night, and the hours are long. Yeah. I'm going to drink and a smoke. Yeah. It's difficult to quit. Yeah, I don't know how you feel about, yeah, I understand. What's cool about it? I don't know what you're talking about. But anyway, oh yeah, and we're gonna wrap up with a little deep breathing. So I was gonna do it somewhere in the middle, but we'll end it with this. So if you can, please don't chat anymore. Close your eyes for a moment. You're gonna inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. We're slowing our breath down. Breathing slowly and deeply. Inhale from your diaphragm all the way up. Inhale. And hold it. Allow that cleansing breath to go to all parts of your body. And then you're going to push out the exhale longer than your inhale. Exhale. Hold that breath out, releasing all the negativity, all the carbon dioxide. And then inhale. And hold it. And then exhale. And then inhale. Hold it. We'll do one more set after this. And then exhale. One more full set. Make it nice and solid. Inhale. And exhale. Okay. Thank you, Nicholas. Okay. Thank you, everybody. And thank you for that chat, you guys. Thanks for contributing, and I really appreciate it. And thank you for being here. I will see you guys tomorrow, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, and I really appreciate you guys. And thank you so much. Imran, thank you. Great job modding tonight. And I think, yay. All right, take care. See you tomorrow. Bye. I'm in Florida.